Hi. Okay. So I know, well, not I know. I turned on the camera and I gave you guys kind of a short vlog when I was actually in Florence, but I didn't tell you guys really about what I did, and I was also pretty lit when I turned on the camera. So yeah, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about what I actually did, how I went to Florence, what it is. So Florence is a city in Italy. It's kind of known for having really great architecture. There's a lot of history there. I don't know all of the history. I did one walking tour. It was an audio walking tour. That's a whole thing that I will also talk a little bit more about. But Italy is kind of large-ish, and it's toward the central part of Italy. So let's talk about how I got there. I took a Flixbus. So Flixbus it's kind of Greyhound-ish, I guess, but it's more for just, it's like the European version of Greyhound, basically. Tickets are very cheap, like so cheap. So you can basically get like a Flixbus ticket. I got mine round trip to Italy. I think looking at the invoice, I might have spent like $90. So the ticket there was like $60. The ticket back was $40. So yeah, I spent about $100. It looks like the bus ride each way was about 6 hours. So that's about 12 hours, and then I'm in a city that's a little bit more in the ski town of Germany, so I'm centrally based in Germany right now. So in order to get anywhere, usually you will leave from Munich, which is like the San Francisco of Germany. So I took a train to Munich and then a bus from Munich to Florence, which is also, we'll talk a little bit about that. So something that I'm starting to notice as I've traveled more, there are these central bus stations, especially where Flixbuses go, and those are called the ZOD, Z-O-D. So the Munich bus station is actually called the ZOD, and it's not the central train station. The central train station is something else because they're like high-speed train rails. The central bus station is usually like a bus terminal that's like above ground, where a lot of the time the train station is like either below ground or it's like engulfed inside of a building. Like the bus station is typically like outside because they're buses and they like go on the freeway and stuff. If you get the concept of a Greyhound bus, then Flixbus won't really bug you much, except Flixbus is usually used for like traveling through countries. Like it's like Greyhound is usually like traveling through cities, not country. So Greyhound is a very United States thing. Okay, so I took the bus from Munich Zod in Germany, and I got to this city called Villa Costanza was the name of the stop, and it is a little town, I believe. It's like a town province in southern Italy, and it's 40 minutes via tram from Florence proper. And so that stop is called Villa Costanza. It is the shittiest bus station I've ever seen in life. And I got there at night, so it was very dark, and it's very kind of interesting trying to buy the ticket. The whole thing. It's, you kind of like walk out through this little exit and down a little path. And then there's like a tram. It does come right there, so I will say it's centrally located, but I was a little bit lost because there weren't necessarily signs, but other people knew where they were going, so I just kind of followed and like watched, right? Anyway, so that worked. So 40 minutes on that little train and you'll get to Santa Maria Novella, which is like the main station, train station proper that's in Florence. So that's kind of where everything is. Like if you rent your hostel, it'll probably be around there. because I had an overnight Flixbus, I had this idea that like I would get off of the bus and it would be morning time, so I'd find a little cafe, go into the cafe and have a lovely breakfast, and then start my day. Well, that is not the way that it actually worked out for me, because I get off of the bus and I did not have my cellular data turned on. So I was fucking struggling trying to figure out how to get some data. And because I didn't have any data, I didn't know like where I was going. And I tried to go into the McDonald's and get on their Wi-Fi. That was fucking awful. So okay, so how can I say this politely? Italy fucking sucks. They don't have. Okay, so I arrive at the train station, right? Literally, it looks like this is worse than like Northern Africa. Like, at least the roads were developed. The train station is literally like a fucking bench. It's like one bench and a sign, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a fucking train, it just like appears. Like, a train just appears, and you're like, okay, there's a little booth, and I'll show you guys. I will insert it so you see what the fuck I'm talking about. So you buy a little ticket. I think I still got the ticket. It's this. You buy like this, right? And you get it like stamped on the back. I don't even think there's not a human who's running this train. It's just going on its own. Anyway, so at least there's like signs in the train to tell you like where you're at. Okay, so this is supposed to be like the downtown, like major train station. I mean, I hear you, and there is a high-speed train that goes to Naples. I think that's fucking cool. But when I tell you I can't find a data bar to save my life, I mean, there's not an internet connection. We are fucking offline. Like, I think Vodafone might know where I am, but what the fuck? I cannot get online. Like, they don't have a cellular tower in this entire city. I'm literally sitting in McDonald's. I have been trying to get online for an hour. There ain't no more coffee in that cup. There ain't an internet connection to save your whole life. Like, whatever there is good to see, I don't even know where the fuck I am. I don't know how to see anything. Look, the map, it says nothing. And this is on Wi-Fi. Like, get the fuck out of here. We are stuck in like 1900s. Like, I understand. I met a girl and she was like, yeah, no, Italy's great to like tour, but it's really difficult to live here. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I can't even get from the train station to the downtown, and I can't find a bar to save my life. So if this is how we're starting this trip, this is gonna be fucking awful. Like, it's not gonna get better. I mean, 0 bars, no bar. I don't know what the fuck this is. It's like asking you to log in with Microsoft. Like, I'm sorry, what year is it? It's like everything is broken. The bitch who was making the coffee couldn't even figure out how to do that. She's like, what? It's like, okay, I don't know. This is a lot. Like, it is 7:23 and already I'm worn down. So maybe this day will get better, but I highly doubt it. This is going to be probably frustration all day. And the problem is I won't be able to find my way back anywhere because there's no Wi-Fi. So, I don't know, maybe we'll find like a local SIM card provider, and that will be able to help me get a bar. Supposedly there's something called Mamma Mia. I tried Airlo so far to get some bars. There ain't nothing. So yeah, this sucks so far, and yeah, let's see if this gets any better. Or maybe if we go like to a different, I highly doubt anything's gonna make it better. I don't know. In Europe, I would just highly encourage you to get either a Vodafone plan or Telecom. Those are the biggest cellular providers. Get an unlimited plan for one of those and you'll be fine, because as long as you have the Google map, like, you'll be able to get around. You'll understand your train times, connections, all of that shit, prices. You'll be able to buy tickets. That's really important. Anyway, so I went on booking.com. I was like sitting outside at this like I'd like walked around for a little because I was trying to like figure I was like trying to understand like Santa Maria Novella and understand like the downtown, but I didn't have any cellular service at this point. So I basically ended up sitting in front of a tram stop. I'm like waiting for the tram, and it was by this like little hotel, and I'm like, maybe I should just get a room in this hotel because like I am exhausted. I need a nap. I kind of need a shower. Like it's just like I need a minute, right? Because I was like just really stressed out. And so I went on booking.com and I found this little Airbnb for a really good price. It was like $45, something like that. It was called La Antica Porta Boutique B&B. It was great. It was in this very cute part of town. Like I took it was like one bus to get like across this little river. And it was so adorable. It gave this very Florence vibe. The building was very old and beautiful. It was great. Like chef's kiss. Like that place was really wonderful. Like I would highly recommend staying there. Highly recommend. Just like book in advance so that like I literally booked the same day of, and so I was like waiting for my room to be clean and check in and all that. Just book the day before so that you're when you get there, whatever time your room's available, like it's just do that. So after I get into the B&B, I take a little shower. I go get an espresso shot. I figure out my cellular situation. I turned on my data. It's like now I finally fucking have data. And I was like, okay, I took a nap for maybe like an hour and then I hit the town. So basically, the first place, what I did was I basically found a map of wine windows because I came there to see the wine windows. That's the thing I was like most interested in. And I ended up finding this like neighborhood called San Paolino. So San Paolino is basically like a neighborhood full of like fashion stores. Like all of the major fashion stores that you could think of are there. It's the Hermes, it's the Low, every Italian brand that you're thinking of, they have storefronts on this like in this neighborhood. And there's this really nice hotel there called 25 Hours Piazza in Sao Paolino. Now I was like, I used the map to get to one of the like wine windows that was on this list that I found, but it wasn't open and I couldn't really find it. So I was like, okay, I don't know. And I go into this hotel because it looks really nice and they have a bar. So I like sat there, I'd ordered a drink, and I started talking to the concierge who instructed me like where the closest wine window was. So I find that and I go to see that. That was incredible. It was so great. And I, she also told me a lot about how to search for really cool wine bars. To me, this trip for Florence was basically about me seeing as many wine windows and the concept of a wine window as I could. It was just like the cutest thing. And it's really classic, it's historic. It's one thing that Florence is known for. Anyway, so I basically did that, and then I also took an audio tour. So while I was there, I kind of planned for the audio tour, like I purchased it. The big idea is you pay like 10 euros, I feel like, and it will tell you where to start, and then as you get to each place, you can like pause it, and then you're listening to someone like explain to you like the history of the place that you're in. That's the premise of the audio tour. So the one that I took was like 50 minutes. And honestly, I didn't get to do like the whole tour. I was pretty lit at that point. And I did like half of it and I just like went back to my Airbnb, napped until it was time for me to basically go back home. So the trip was a little bit short. It was like a 6 hour sort of train ride back, but it was like $100 transit trip, right? And what was it like? $40 for the B&B. It was a very cute trip. And I feel like I also learned quite a lot about navigating a new city because I thought that, like, how do I say? Like, I thought I would be able to kind of pack so many things into like one trip. And I thought that, like, by making this like grand itinerary of all the things that I would do, I would actually be able to get all of those things done. And I didn't. And that was like a bit disappointing. Um, dancing. Sorry. One of the other guys that I work with is helping me make an itinerary for Prague. So that's where we're going next. So if you're excited to hear about that, stay tuned. Anyway.